Okay, everybody, we're about to start.
Welcome to the NAACP Mobile branch number 5044. It's Candidate Forum for City Council District 1, 2, and 6. I'm Robert Clompton, President of the local branch of the NAACP. Our mission is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons, and to eliminate racial hatred and racial discrimination. We are pleased to partner with local media leaders to help educate the voters about their choices for city leadership, specifically city council and the mayoral races.
WPMI NBC 15, WKRG News 5, and Fox 10 have come together in a beautiful spirit of collaboration to bring tonight's candidates directly to you via streaming on their respective Facebook pages. Tonight, NBC 15's Kim Anderson will stream District 1, Fox 10's Lanice Lagan will stream District 2, and WKRG's Amanda DeVoe will stream District 6. All streams will appear on the NAACP Mobile, Alabama Facebook page as well. Please visit that page for more information about tonight's events, as well as the upcoming events for the next 2 Thursdays. We'd like to also thank our community partners who have been instrumental in helping us bring this to life. Specifically, Stand Up Mobile, a blueprint for us, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Theta Omega Chapter, the Poor People's Campaign, Diversity Magazine, Inspire You Radio, and many others. So now it's time to hear from our candidates. And before we do that, we're going to pass this to our very capable partners who are there live with you tonight to take you through the forum. Thank you again. Have a great night.
Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kiara Hawkins. I am the NAACP Communications Chairperson. So tonight, you all will hear from 5 candidates running for the City Council District 2. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to each question. It's time. Thanks to all of our wonderful media partners, Fox 10 has chosen to conduct this forum. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Lanice Lagan as tonight's moderator. Thank you so much for moderating our forum tonight.
Thank you. And thank you guys for lending some of your time and your voices to this platform. My thanks to the NAACP for setting this up. Information is a valuable tool, and I am happy to help deliver that for District 2 tonight. So we are going to get started. I am Lanice Lagan from Fox 10 News, joined tonight by William Carroll, Reggie Hill, Lavon Manzi, Kimberly Mckean, and Mark Minard. First, before we begin with our Q&A, I would like for everyone to have an opportunity to say hello and give a brief description about themselves and also to talk about their platform. We're going to start first with Mr. William Carroll.
Good afternoon. I'm William Carroll. As yes, most of you can see by the background and read. I'm a lifelong Mobilian, born and raised here, lived in District 2 for 43 years. Went to St. Mary's, a graduate of McGill-Toolen. I'm also a FAMUan in college. I have a degree in civil engineering, and architectural engineering is a specialty. I am involved in neighborhood revitalization. I love the youth. I'm a coach, sport, and quite a few other things. I've served on about 16 boards of directors in the city of Mobile and have been involved since the age of 14. I look forward to a spirited conversation tonight on the issues and a spirited conversation tonight on what may be the future of the city of Mobile.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Up next, Reggie Hill.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and to the NAACP for this opportunity, all of its partners, to its president, Mr. Clopton, Ms. Washington over the Political Action Group, and to the Kennedy Strategic Communications for facilitating this. As mentioned, my name is Reggie Hill. Excuse me. I am a product born and raised here in District 2. I'm a product of the schools here, Naacp Elementary School, Callaway Smith Middle School, Murphy High School, and went on to Alabama A&M University, where I studied music. I obtained my Master's of Education from Concordia University in Portland. I'm currently pursuing an educational doctorate in organizational leadership from Concordia University in Chicago. And as I've stated at all the other forums, after I complete that, I plan to go on to law school. And after that, I'm going to retire from giving this country all of my money through education. I'm currently serving as Executive Director of Success for the Future. We aim to ensure that young people, particularly those at risk, steer clear of pathways that lead towards delinquency, social dependency, and incarceration. And this is done through worthwhile behavior intervention and character development programs. As far as the basic tenets of my platform, my key focuses are public safety, housing, proper usage of public funds, recreation through lifelong learning, and infrastructure. And if this is to be the best opportunity for our district, this is the candidate for this race. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be a part of this forum.
All right, thank you so much. Next, we will go to Lavon Manzi.
Good evening to our moderator, to Ms. Mckean, to the president of the NAACP and all of his membership, every person who is connected and responsible for presenting this forum. You certainly have my appreciation. My name is Lavon C. Manzi, and I have the privilege of being the District 2 representative on the Mobile City Council and also serving the last 2 years as president of the council. I wake up every day trying to move the ball a little further down the field, respond to the various requests of citizens, and being as strong an advocate for their needs and their sentiments and for the progression of their communities as I can be. I've wanted to serve in this position since I was a sophomore in District 2's Murphy High School. And to finally be here and be a part of the transformative change that has taken place over the last 7.5 years is indeed an honor. And I look forward to gaining the respect and the votes of the voters of District 2 and serving hopefully another term, continuing to lead this district and our city forward.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Kimberly Mckean.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me tonight. Hi, my name is Kimberly Mckean and I am running for Mobile City Council District 2. And I've lived in District 2 for 21 years. I'm also a civil rights organizer and LGBTQ activist, most recently named Champion of Pride by the Advocate magazine last year for the state of Alabama. Today, I serve as Secretary and District 2 appointee to the City of Mobile's Human Relations Commission, and I am the Director of Digital Outreach and Communications for AIDS Alabama, a statewide nonprofit organization that is dedicated to improving the lives of people living with HIV. I gained national attention as the co-plaintiff in the landmark federal case Searcy versus Strange in 2015, which legalized same-sex marriages and adoptive rights. I chose to run for city council because I want to be the squeaky wheel that District 2 needs to make things happen and go forward. So that's what I have.
Thank you. And last, we have Mark Minert.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Mark Minert. I am a graduate of South Alabama. I have a degree in finance and economics. I've lived in the area for over 20 years. And for those 20 years, I've served as an appraiser, real estate analyst, and I currently work as a realtor. We handle everything from small residential properties to large, major commercial developments. And, the primary focus of my campaign has been, number one, crime prevention, and number two, economic development. And I really think that those are two topics that are very important, particularly to District 2 and the future of Mobile. And that's where I'm primarily focused. So I want to thank everybody that's here tonight and watching, and thank you for putting this on.
All right, thank you everyone for those introductions. And on that note, let's go ahead and dive right into the conversation. The first topic for tonight is the economy. And these are questions that were pulled from the NAACP. And tonight, the question is, we have what's called a brain drain problem locally. A lot of students are staying for their education, but then they're leaving the port city to go elsewhere. What would you do to help grow your business footprint in District 2 and also to help retain some of that talent locally? And we'll start first with William Carroll.
Well, thank you for asking me first. That's near and dear to me. As everyone knows, I started a business in District 2. We're contractors and, also work with other firms as a superintendent in project management throughout the area. I've been concerned about youth remaining in our area for a long time. Even in my first term in the council, I was concerned about that and wanted them to stay. I have a son now that's 25, also an engineer, that's living in between Mobile and here. We finally got him back home with gainful employment. And I have people in my campaign now that are 25 and 30 that I went to get. I have Everett Coleman from Baylor University, who's 22 years old, that I brought home because he wanted to see Mobile change. So I said, come help us. I have others in our campaign too, West Point grads that are 30 years old that I said, come home to help us so that we can improve Mobile, so that you would have a place that you like to be a part of, so that you can be involved in the city and continue to work. To increase their footprint though, we have to also change and add to some of the quality of life things here. We have to find other types of employment that bring them here. We need more white collar employment that's gainful, more technology jobs, more jobs in the engineering field, even though we have quite a few here now, but more that are just parts and pieces in implementation and construction and assimilation of parts. We need, just to recruit those types of businesses and also get them here, but also have more spots of employment. We can't just have those that employ one or two. We need those that employ 3 or 4. A prime example of that is what the city of Bruton did. They bought a company called Provalis in. Provalis is now employing 300 people in the IT field in the city of Bruton. That's monumental for a city that only has 5,432 people in it. That's the type of things we need to do in the city of Mobile to actually make us, to help us keep our youth here and to bring them here and to make them stay home.
All right, your time is up. Thank you. Next, Reggie Hall, how would you answer that question? And a reminder to keep comments and responses to 90 seconds, please.
Well, I will serve as a proxy for Reggie Hall since I'm Reggie Hill, but I believe the first thing we must realize is that we need great opportunities here for things to do within the city. We need those things that are going to retain people because they feel there's a reason to be here. One of the things that I want to implement, the first thing we'll do from my office, is by installing the District 2 Business Incubator. And what this is going to do is allow people to have the opportunity to be afforded the grants. There are millions upon millions of dollars that are available to keep people right here. But unless we have people that are willing to investigate these contracts and willing to facilitate them and get them exposed, we know that our people perish because of lack of knowledge. And that's because they simply don't know what's available. So we can create something within the district that allows them to be able to know what's accessible, how to get it done, and how to sustain it. This is how we'll keep people here. But until then, they're going to keep leaving because opportunities are available in other places. As well, we have to find ways in which we can increase the value of the dollar in our city so that people will have an opportunity to say it's worth staying, it's worth building, it's worth beginning a family. It's worth being able to say, I want to retire here. And those are some of the easy steps we can do. But I really want to implement this business incubator because there are a lot of people who have ideas. They don't have the licensing. They don't know how to get the necessary capital. They don't have the support that's necessary to actually sustain themselves.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hill, and my apologies for trying to turn you into a football player there.
No worries, no worries.
Next up, we have Miss Kimberly Mckean.
Hey, yeah, I believe that keeping our young graduates here is vital to our economic growth. We need to add amenities that relate to our younger crowd, such as maintaining and improving our entertainment district in District 2, and also to recruit technology and innovative businesses to our districts as well.
Okay. Mark, you're up.
You know, this is a problem that I deal with being a realtor. A lot of these guys coming in, and one of the big things that they're looking for is quality of life. And a few people have touched on that. You know, things like bike lanes, walkable sidewalks. We have a great community here, and a lot of people are interested in that. But one of the problems that we have is housing. There's not really a lot of affordable housing for that just out of college student. You know, a lot of apartments right now are starting at $1,000 or more. Another draw is going to have to be job opportunities. We're going to have to draw more businesses in here. We're going to have to draw maybe that next Alstom, Airbus, that is a large employer. And, you know, part of that's going to be, you know, I hate to say it, it's going to be getting our crime stats down. It's going to be getting education up and just basically improving the overall quality of life. And that'll help enhance and attract these younger people to move back home. Or, you know, maybe if they don't move back home, just move to Mobile in general. And I really think that Mobile could be well situated to being the choice city for that 21 to 28-year-old postgraduate professional, considering our proximity to the beach, our housing types, the having the entertainment district, and all the other features that we have. We just need to kind of give them a quality of life that they can appreciate, and we have to make it affordable for them. So those are the things that I really believe are going to attract more and more, you know, 21 to 28-year-olds.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Manzi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity to answer this question. And I really concur with really the majority of the sentiments already expressed. We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into bringing industry and corporations here. I think one thing that we could certainly be more intentional about is making certain that those job opportunities that present themselves match up with our local residents. In many cases, the jobs come here and individuals from outside of the county, outside of the region, and even individuals that they bring in from out of the country occupy those positions. I think as we invest, we need to make certain that Mobilians have opportunities to apply for and fill those positions as prevalently as possible. It's also dealing with quality of life and quality of life amenities. When you consider that someone capable, competent, and qualified, highly trained or degreed can go to any major city across this country and really enjoy cultural amenities, enjoy religious amenities, even transportation amenities that aren't offered here. It lets us know that we've made progress, but there's yet room for us to continue to improve. And our economy, while it's on an uptick, has to be so strong and so resilient that they'll want to move back here. We've got to make having a low cost of living, we've got to make having low taxes and an inducement for those young people to want to plant roots permanently in our community. I think we have every natural amenity to be successful, and working together, I think we will continue to build on that success.
All right, thank you. Next question. It's going to be on public health. And as we have reported here on Fox 10 News, there is a resurgence of COVID-19. The Delta variant has caused difficulty for healthcare professionals to get a handle on this virus. many say that things could get worse before they get better. Now, the question is, guidelines have been revamped from the CDC and from the health department. Would you support the guidelines established by the Alabama Public Health? And if so, how would you support that into actionable items in your district? And we will start again with Mr. Carroll, 90 seconds, please.
Sorry, I muted the screen, so we're getting any feedback. Again, another great question. First of all, we have to follow the science, and we have to follow those that know more about the actual virus than anyone else. But, right now, our industry is considered to be essential workers, but we also have to follow it. So we have to fully adhere to the guidelines that are given, masked up, in closed spaces, temperature checks as they come into the enclosed buildings and all of those other things. So yes, we're going to follow them wholeheartedly, but we're also going to encourage our workforce in our industry to get the vaccination, because it's not going to slow down until everyone is vaccinated. What we're trying to avoid, or what we'd like to see avoided, is going back to full enclosure and the economy slowing down and stopping again, or possibly stopping because we have to shut things down again. So we have to encourage everyone to get the vaccination. There's no doubt. The other thing that we don't want to see happen is actually passports to get to work, to go into places and everything else. I know everyone realizes that when we grew up going to school, that card that we gave for immunizations actually was a passport to come to school to show that we were immunized for all the things that are all the diseases and childhood diseases that happen. But right now, I think at some point we may have to make the guidelines a little stringent and say we may have to passport until everyone is vaccinated so that we can slow this down. I'm wholeheartedly in favor of following the guidelines, and that's something that we're all going to have to do.
Thank you. Mr. Hill.
Thank you, Moderator Lagon. What's unfortunate about all of this is, whether it's from the federal or the state or the county level, there's been no accuracy on anything of what to do. We've seen the ticks continue to rise. We've seen them give us all these instructions on what to do as the cases continue to increase. But what has been consistent across the board is that this is a respiratory and an immune system problem. So my question is, why are we not writing letters to the state legislator and demanding that we remove food taxes so that people can actually get to the healthy foods that are necessary to build the proper respiratory and immune system? Why are we charging our young people to go into recreation centers to remain healthy if, again, this is a respiratory and immune system problem? Why are we not doing the things that are necessary to have more outdoor activities so you can get the sun that is necessary for your body to be healed? These are all things that the science states as well. So I think that our focus must be in another place rather than attempting to put Band-Aids on the cancers. We have some amazing universities and post-secondary education institutions here in Mobile, Alabama. Why aren't we using the research capabilities to determine what we can do to be proactive to prevent these measures instead of attempting to cover them up? As we see, we don't have any accuracy, again, from the federal or state levels. Now, as a sworn officer, you're going to have to abide by what the state law says. So I'm going to do everything in my power to adhere to law and support the needs of my constituency, because they will be the ones that put me in the seat. But I would be doing a disservice to all people if I didn't educate them on what's actually going on. So right now, I want us to put our focus towards doing those things that are going to make our respiratory and immune systems better. Thank you.
Mr. Manzi.
What is bothersome to me is the fact that there has been a politicization of this vaccine. And I really believe that political stigma is what is really encouraged a large faction of our country not to follow the science, not to listen to those who've studied, who've prepared themselves, and who are subject matter experts on this horrendous pandemic. And when I listen to those, particularly those who kind of spew a political articulation as relates to the vaccine, it's just very, very troublesome. And in many cases, They don't believe that it's real. They don't believe that it has actual impact until it has had a real impact on someone that they love and hold near and dear. And so one of the ways that I think we can be helpful and provide guidance is by being an example. When they see us, they see that we're being responsible, that we're adhering to the tenets provided by the CDC. Are they going to get it right every time, 24/7, 100% of the time? No, because they're humans, but they are the subject matter experts. And I certainly would take what they have to say on the subject matter over anyone else's perspective. I've gotten all of my vaccines. If they call me in to get a booster, I'm willing to go in. It has not had any detrimental health impacts on me or my family. And what's so troubling is that we will finally get into a place where we almost saw the light at the end of the tunnel and was returning to some semblance of normalcy. And then now we see this uprising and this uptick. So I'm going to be in favor of following the subject matter experts and doing what it takes for us to get to the end of this pandemic.
Thank you. Ms. Kimberly.
Well, less than 40% of Mobile County is vaccinated. We need to fully adhere to all the guidelines to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Vaccination is key here. Vaccination is the best way to prevent the spread and effects of COVID-19. I'm fully in favor of following the guidelines. And one of the issues that I'm seeing is that transportation is a barrier to getting vaccinations in some neighborhoods. So I fully support walk-through clinics because, you know, if we do drive-through clinics, people don't have cars. They have to ride the bus. And I believe that we should get out into the neighborhoods that need it the most and get in the parks, do a walkthrough, do it along bus routes as well, because a lot of people ride the bus, and make it easily accessible to all people. Thank you.
Mr. Minard.
You know, really it's going to come down to the numbers started dropping once people started getting vaccinated. And we know that vaccinations will reduce those numbers. Now, I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to argue what works, what doesn't. I really don't know. I know very little about medical background, but I do know that the vaccinations have helped reduce the numbers, reduce the spread. And that's going to come down to personal responsibility. We're going to have to really lean on our family, friends, neighbors. And, you know, like Levon said, we're going to have to set an example and live up to that example and really encourage our city, whether it be elderly or young people, whoever, to get those vaccinations to stop the spread. And ultimately, we're also going to have to take that personal responsibility to not host events. Carlos Finley had an event scheduled for Saturday. He went ahead and canceled because he told me he did not feel that it was safe to hold that level of event given the rapid spread. And so it's going to take some tough decisions like that. As a politician, I know that how tough it is to cancel an event like that right before an election. But those are the tough calls that we're going to have to make. And that's not just going to be on a personal level. It's going to have to be on a city level at a certain point. We're going to have to consider, you know, do we want to have this major event or not? Or is it going to turn into a super spreader event and maybe put off some of these city activities, these large groupings where we have tens of thousands of people, like the parade we had, and maybe postpone those until we can get these numbers under control. I think that's really going to be probably our first steps, and we'll see if that's enough to tackle it and just go from there. Thank you.
Thank you all for answering that question. Next up, we're going to be discussing crime and public safety. There have been many strategies employed to address the rising crime statistics that's nationally and locally. What new resources and strategies would you bring to the table to help reduce crime across Mobile? And we will start with William Carroll, 90 seconds.
Well, reducing crime across Mobile has to be a collaborative of things. It just can't be one. You know, it has to be threefold. First, I think we need to identify the areas, and then we need to identify the people. Then when we do that, we need to collect the data of the area of why these types of crimes are happening, know about the community in which the individuals and the crimes are happening, and then collect that data and put together a program to help those. A lot of times when we have crimes in areas, I mean, crimes sometimes are just caused because people have need, and sometimes people need help. And when we figure out what that need is and that help is, then we can respond accordingly. Sometimes they need daycare. Sometimes they need assistance in housing. Sometimes they actually may need food. You know, little Johnny may go into a store, grab a bag of potato chips because he's hungry because mom and dad's not working, gets into the altercation because the manager catches him. Now he has a problem. You know, those are the things that we need to address. They just may need help at home. You know, technology, that's another good part of it. Implementing technology into it is great. You know, but most of all, you know, in the city of Mobile, we've seen so much gun crime. You know, we have to slow it down. From the ages of 12 to 25 is the highest degree of injury to people from gun crimes. You know, right now, we simply have to get the guns off the street. You know, hearing them, identifying them, seeing a shot, that's great. But by the time we've heard a shot and somebody's been shot, somebody's hurt. So we simply also just need to get them off the street.
And Mr. Hill, your response.
Thank you, Moderator Lagon. The first thing we need to do is realize that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to identify where these areas are. District 2 has the highest rate of homicide of any district in the city of Mobile. Our household median income for District 2 is right above $28,000. Poverty is the primary reason why a lot of this stuff happens the way that we see it. District 2 as well leads homelessness out of all districts in the city of Mobile. We don't have to go looking around for stuff. What we need is new leadership. It's as simple as that. We have programs that have data-proven results that'll work with kids who have IEPs. That means they have special needs in school. Kids who had high disciplinary infractions, face the most level of expulsions, have been arrested, tried beyond youthful level of offender, have been arrested with Strickland Youth Center. And we've turned them 180, not 360, come back and repeat the same thing. But when you have leaders who will hold back the resources to support those organizations who know what to do and are dealing with those who are on the track record to make these type of activities happen in our city, we're going to keep seeing it. It's not rocket science here, what we need to do. We just need new leadership, people who have proven data, who know what to do. They need to be given the opportunity. And we can't have leaders who are going to hold back resources or keep investing in programs that are not yielding the results for the millions of dollars that we're spending on them, and then asking, why is the crime rate going up? We have 16 years of leadership sitting right here. And this is what we see here. So we just need new leadership.
Mr. Manzi, you're next.
I think this is a great question, probably one of the most challenging and pivotal issues facing this city, and not just Mobile, but major cities across this country. There are cities with entire new slates of leadership that are experiencing upticks in crime. And so while there are things that we can do that are out of the box, eccentric, that I believe could work, there are nonprofit agencies that I believe that we need to invest in to make certain that we expand on the front end so that we don't have to expand so much greater and exponentially on the back end. And I believe the city of Mobile is at that point where we want to hear about what our nonprofit agencies and partners can do to help us stymie this national and international crime uptick. This isn't just a Mobile problem. And if a politician, if a public servant had the magic wand or the magic potion, we would patent it and sell it all across this globe, because these are issues that are affecting every major city in this country, every major city in this state, and even some of our smaller cities. And so we've got to invest in those things that we know work, making sure that we pay our first responders comparable and make sure that we pay them to a degree that we don't lose all of the experience to the sheriff's department or to smaller departments where they get greater pay, with less of a workload. We've got to engage communities and create avenues for citizens to share the information that they have without fear of retribution. I just believe that there are many things that we can do, but one of the things I'd like for us to consider greatly is partnering with credible nonprofit agencies so that we can stymie the trend on the front end.
Mr. Manzi, my apologies, but your
No
time
problem.
is now up.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kimberly, your response.
Right. Well, I believe there is no single solution to this. Instead, the entire community, law enforcement, social safety nets, government, and neighborhoods must do better. The transient themes included improving like hiring practices, better training, stronger communication strategies, and methods to weed out the bad apples. You know, becoming aware of what type of crimes is happening in District 2, finding out the why behind the why. Why is it happening? That's the key here. I also think making our police force more visible and personable is a great way to create relationships between the citizens and police. So thank you.
Mark, you're next.
So this is probably the one thing that was most important to me that really inspired this run. And so one of the things I did, and I don't know if anybody realizes this, I was one of the first people, if not the first person, to bring the idea of shot spotter technology to the use in Mobile. I just wanted to, and where I found that shot spotter technology is I went and did research in other cities and saw how they were able to successfully combat the same kind of problems that we had. And all the cities that in the past decade that were able to successfully combat, especially extreme violence and murder, used, whether it was intentional or unintentional, basically a three-tier system. Technology such as ShotSpotter. The next were intervention programs. Dr. Philip Smith at University of South Alabama just got a federal grant to actually study a couple of these intervention programs and how they work. And then the third tier is community interaction. And that's reaching out, like the forum we did Monday night with the pastors and reaching out in the community and finding out what their needs are. The long-term solution to this is to give those people a value of life. All right. They're not going to value life until they have a value in their own life. And that's probably going to take a generation to develop. So we do need to focus on that. And that's going to come with employment, reduction in poverty, better quality of life. It will come. But in the short term, technology, intervention programs, and community outreach. That's the magic trio that seems to have worked. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up is housing, specifically affordable housing. Across the area, District 2, a lot of blight can be seen. There needs to be more access to a quality of life for all residents. What would be your plan to address affordable housing options and just overall the beautification of District 2? We'll start with Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. It seems like we're always starting with me.
I can change that. That's how it's listed on the program.
Well, every now and then kind of swap it up. I get the advantage of having to compile my thoughts as we start, as everybody else is compiling theirs after we start. But District 2 is extremely special. We're the most diverse district in the city. We have some of the richest of the rich and some of the poorest of the poor. We have some of the oldest areas in our city also that need more help than anywhere else. The affordable housing issue, though, we need housing, period. But affordable housing is near and dear to me. As most of you know, I've done 25 in my own neighborhood and countless in other neighborhoods since 1999, been involved with the Oakland Venture Revolving Fund back in 99 through 2010 and all the things that happened in the lower end of Oakley as we restored that. A lot of it went for higher income, and some of it went to low to moderate income, and some went to affordable housing. But what we have to do is we have to get into neighborhoods like the Bottom And then we have to take and use the things that we already have, use the land bank, get those properties into the land bank, then get the quiet titles and get those into the system also. And then have use additional monies from CDBG, other grants that are involved in the city. I think maybe 80/20s and AIMS and all those types of other funds that are coming in and have been around for a while. Have other partners in the community to help us build on these properties that are blighted. Get some of these properties into developers' hands so that they can assist us with funds that they have and put houses on the market for sale. You know, that sweet spot right now for affordable housing is probably between $80,000 and $150,000 for those. So those types of things we need to do. Beautification, we need to also add to protecting our trees, cutting our right-of-ways, having the city cut these blighted properties that get overgrown so quickly. I know it's tough, but we're going to have to stay on it. But we're also going to have the communities get involved with keeping those lots cut. We're going to have to encourage the neighborhood.
And your time has expired. Mr. Hill, you're next.
Thank you, Moderator Lagon. The first thing we're going to have to do is not elect councilors who are going to allow housing units to be closed down completely. Excuse me. The Mobile Housing Authority met and they went through their budget, and places in our district like Josephine, Allen, and Roger Williams do not have a copper penny for the next 3 to 5 years. So that's the first thing that we're going to have to do. The next piece is we can't allow an administration to misuse the city code to a manner where they can just determine that a property is blighted so much where they can go and just demolish it, when it may just need a little bit of improvement. We have nonprofit organizations here. We have land banks, as just was mentioned. We have all these opportunities through federal grants, state grants, even loans that can be done. Why are we not challenging our banking institutions who are allowed to house our resources here, but they're not funneling them out to the programs and projects that could actually improve the quality of life? So again, most of what you're going to hear from me is starting back to our decision makers. We look at a lot of the symptoms, and that's the issue. We don't get to the cause. So if we get some people who are actually going to examine the entire holistic results and consequences of what's going to happen, we wouldn't see a lot of these matters over and over again. So getting back to the basis of that question, however, we have to have leadership that is not going to allow the housing units to, because this is consequential now to crime too. With these housing units now closed, we're now pushing all of these residents all over the city. And we're wondering why we're seeing crime in all these other areas. The crab in the bucket mentality. People think that you're pulling down because they're in that situation. No, if you go to a beach and you see crabs and they're on top of each other, they just roll over and go on and do what they do. But if they're in a bucket, they're in a totally different atmosphere, and that's why they're acting the way they're acting. Thank you.
Mr. Manzi.
Well, one way that we've been intentional is making certain that we're able to assist residents whose houses are right on that border. With just a little infusion of resources, we created a program called A New View for District 2, and 75 homes and 75 residents in our district in the inaugural program were able to get new roofs on their properties, or a new coat of paint, or ADA ramps that make certain that those who need the assistance of a wheelchair have the appropriate ramps. And as we budget for next year, we're going to allocate even more resources, because we saw that the demand for that kind of assistance was just overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. Many want to do better and want to make certain that their homes are preserved and that they can leave something generationally for the children, but they don't have the resources. So while we're resurfacing streets and replacing sidewalks, it's also important to help those in the low to moderate income communities continue to invest in their homes. As they do that, we'll hold on to our historic communities. The values will continue to hold and increase, and we won't have as much blight as we have in the city of Mobile. That program has been wildly successful, and we're going to continue it next year and subsequent years after it.
Ms. McCann.
Well, I'd like to say, currently they've closed down, the city's closed down a lot of housing units, and they've moved them out to Schillinger Road. But they did not put them on the bus route. That's something that we're going to have to look at eventually, which doesn't give them access to transportation or anything like that. But to answer your question, being the most diverse district, we need to work towards having more affordable housing. Working with other organizations in the area to bring more housing options is a more diverse economic range. Appropriately using funds to improve our existing and creating new housing options. I mean, that's what makes District 2 great, is how diverse it is. But moving people that can't afford housing out to Schillender Road and not giving them transportation to go to the grocery store isn't the way to do it. We've got to create neighborhoods that are diverse, because it creates economic stability, it improves life, it does all of the wonderful things. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. Thank you.
Mr. Minard.
So actually, all these ideas are cumulatively good ideas. So about 15, 20 years ago, the federal government tried to steer away from these large low-income developments, tower project type housing. And they did that consciously. And the idea was to spread it into the private sector and spread it out. And that would give them more opportunity. So you don't have just this concentration of poverty. You would have people living among other residential areas with parks and rec and things like that. And, to a certain degree, that might have been a mistake, just for the simple fact that we can throw up an apartment complex a lot quicker than we can build 400 houses. However, we need to take that with a grain of salt. We probably need lower density type apartments. Kim's right, we're going to need bus access to anywhere that we go. And, we got to also remember, it's not just low income housing that's in shortage. All housing in the city is in shortage. And low income housing is in shortage in pretty much every city in America, but all housing is in shortage. So that's a tricky thing. And I hate to say it, but we're almost at a point in the city where, we do have some blighted properties that we can repair through the land bank. And I love Levon Manzi's program of trying to prevent more housing from going into that blighted area. But we're pretty well developed, which means at some point we're going to have to increase the density of our housing. And it may be time to start looking at that. And thank you.
Thank you. We have come to one of the last questions. And this one has to do with equity and inclusion. Many feel the racial and socioeconomic divide in the city prevents Mobile from being all that it can be. Although we are a majority African-American city, the proportion of government contracts and associated opportunities doesn't reflect equitably. How would you address this concern of equity in the community? And we will start in reverse order. So since your mic is already unmuted.
Oh, is it?
You would be first.
I'll be happy to go first.
You can thank Mr. Carroll for that.
I've got lots to thank Mr. Carroll for. One of the programs that we had recently was the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Education Program. And this really helped a lot of these DBEs fill out their certification, or I guess it's planned, but it's going to help them fill out their certification. But this doesn't need to be a one-time thing. This needs to be an ongoing process. A lot of times we have contracts that are held up just searching for DBE contractors. And so that's one way that we can definitely start to return some of that money, because part of that is they have to be a local company, and really start to return some money to the community, especially in the minorities communities, and it'll help grow that enterprise. And again, if a disadvantaged enterprise or a traditionally African-American enterprise is going to be much more likely to hire an African-American from the neighborhood. This gives them a lot more opportunity for job advancement and future growth. So I really think that that is a program that we really need to push on and really need to help minority business owners develop and get their certification so that they can start getting these contracts. And I'd like to get to a point to where we don't have DBE credits anymore because there are, a proportionate amount of minority owned businesses that make up certified businesses. Thank you.
Miss Kimberly, you're next.
All right. As a white woman, I understand that I come from a place of privilege. I plan to use my voice and my platform to ensure that Black voices are heard and raised up in our community. I attended Black Lives Matter marches, and I'm an advocate of this movement. The systematic racism present in our city today has no place in District 2. And a vote for me would be to help end the systematic racism in Mobile. Also, I would like to say I would rely more on our Mobile's Human Relations Commission because it is a city council appointed, city-based group tasked with monitoring racial and ethnic disparities. Also, I would like to establish a permanent unity task force charged with directly engaging residents, organizations, and institutions on matters regarding race, ethnicity, forms of diversity in Mobile. And this could also include revising the Human Relations Commission's goals and responsibilities. I think that commission is definitely underutilized, and it should be embraced a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Manzi, your turn now.
Yes, ma'am. When I look at where we were from a numbers perspective 8 years ago and consider where we are now, that level of inclusion, that level of participation has grown exponentially. Well, the truth of the matter is on some of the big ticket items, we don't have minority firms that are capable, competent, and certified to tackle some of these issues. Like one of our biggest expenditures is the road resurfacing program, where we expend millions upon millions, both as a city and then with the county pay-as-you-go program. And if we had a minority firm that could be in partnership with a traditional firm, that would really take us a long way in that one respect. We don't. So we've got to grow the bench, so to speak, to make certain that if we want inclusion and if we want the contracts, the bigger contracts to flow to those who happen to be in the minority community, we've got, and it goes back to that, the brain drain. We've got to get those who come back as engineers, earn degrees as architects, want to have that entrepreneurial spirit, not to go to Houston, not to go to Atlanta, not to go to Charlotte, but come here and compete. And not just compete for the paltry 15%, but actually go for the entirety of the contract. And we have 2 or 3, 4 or 5 here in Mobile now that are actually doing that, that are examples of being able to be the prime on a contract as opposed to always being the sub. And so the opportunities are there. This iteration of leaders for the city of Mobile have been intentional, so much so that Arshini Kidd is tasked with that one job of making certain that we connect DBEs from these minority communities to city work, to city projects, and not only city projects, but even private sector work.
I
work to this.
I hate to do it.
I understand.
Mr. Hill, you're next.
Thank you, Moderator Lagon. One thing that I share with my program participants of Success for the Future is that humans have learned the same way since the beginning of time. We copy what we see and we repeat what we hear. So if you haven't been exposed to anything different in life, we can't expect you to do anything different. Until we start facilitating opportunities for all people to sit down and have conversations and discuss the issues that impact everyone's quality of life, we will never reach the results that we need. I have no qualm with anyone that is a different color, skin color than I am. That is not the problem within our community. Unfortunately, we've had spineless cowardly acting leaders that have represented us who look like me. It has nothing to do with skin tone. This is a matter of what are you going to stand up for? What are you going to speak truth on? What are you going to plan? What is your vision? What are you going to present to the people? What are you going to get on the agenda? What are you going to spend your money on? This is not rocket science. And to say that we don't have the proper certification and qualifications, no, there are plenty of organizations who are certified and have data-proven records. But because of the leadership, they're not getting the resources necessary to go out and change and make the difference that's necessary in our community. So you will never hear me. I went to Loncroft Elementary School and SS Murphy High School. My first friend at Loncroft and best friend to this day is white. It has nothing to do with color. This is about what are we going to do? So people who look like me, they are the primary reason why our communities are the way that they are. So until we start electing people who are actually going to get in there and get the job done and not come with the sound bites, we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. Thank you.
Last but not least.
Thank you. We're going to have to raise the bar on how we issue contracts. And we're also going to have to raise the bar on how we go after people or industry that comes to the city and to the county. When we bring new industry in, we're going to have to make it mandatory and hold the company accountable to make sure that they hire minority prime contractors. We're going to have to do that. On our city contracts, we're going to have to stop allowing the statement for best or what that is for best effort to find minority contractors. There are qualified minority contractors in the city and in this region. There's no way that they're not. We're going to have to add to our contract sections that say you will not be able to have this contract unless you have check minority participation in the amount of 30%. And we're not talking about individuals that work for the company. We're talking about contract holders. And until minorities have are contract owners and own the profits on those contracts, then we have an issue. Raising the bar is where we have to go. And we have to do that in everything from professional services to contracting to just environmental concerns to everything that the city does. There's no way out of it. That's just how we're going to have to do it. Arsenic's done a great job in bringing us from where we were 8 years ago. I applaud that effort, but we're going to have to do even more. I heard the roads mentioned or roadbeds mentioned. There are no minority contractors in the city that actually do asphalt paving. However, there are project managers and program managers that can manage those projects from start to beginning and check that phase of the box, which is 15 to 20% of that contract, and be awarded that same contract as a subprime to the prime. There are so many things that we can do to enhance the ability to award contracts to the minorities in the city that we just haven't gotten to yet. Mobile's on the verge of getting it, but we need a different type of leader looking at things in a different perspective that's seen things happen in different cities and states across this country to know how to go forward with that approach.
That was the last question from the NAACP, but we asked our viewers to submit some questions, and we are running actually ahead of schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and get this question in there. The viewer wants to know, other than museums and parks, what ideas and plans do you have to create something new for families to do in Mobile? And whoever wants to address that question first may do so.
I will start.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Thanks, Mark. I have an extremely bold idea for this. Many years ago, the Civic Center was the place in which most of all the activities happen in the city of Mobile. Now, this bold challenge may be hard for some to stomach, but I think it's our most economical, our best, most economical path forward. And we must remove the Arthur Outlaw Convention Center. We're paying for 2 properties now that are not fitting the bill for either one, just on utilities alone. Most times our elected officials tell us we can't do anything with the waterfront because the state owns the majority of that property. Well, we own that part of it. And so we can bring forth waterfront amenities. I think we will be able to see tourism and activities to do that compare to cities like Savannah and New Orleans. We see Savannah, they have 55,000 less residents than us, but they turn in 8+ more million tourists than we do. And that's because they're maximizing on their waterfront. So we need to be able to utilize that in a manner that is going to attract people not only to stay here, but to continuously visiting year after year after year. Thank you.
You know, I can jump in here and add to that. The Hickory Street landfill is probably the most environmentally, the hardest environmental situation we have in the city. Let's remediate that. Let's get it out of the way. Let's clean it up. Whatever cost it takes us, let's get a plan in place, get it cleaned up. Let's clean up from the creek from Conception Street all the way over to Stone Street. Let's put a trail in the back. Let's increase our affordable housing along and let it anchor along the Hickory Street area. Let's get those chicken pins, junipers, tatas, all those streets down in the bottom, all the way over to English and Bazell, and let's get those cleaned up and have them active with a fishing pier and things like that down on the end over there. The other thing is that I'm a basketball coach. I coach AAU basketball and been heavily involved with Port City Reign. We've even won a national championship with my 4th grade team a few years ago and brought it to Mobile. We need to start bringing more activities like that here where our youth are participating and know that it's going to happen year after year. That way we bring other cities to the city. We bring other teams. We bring people here that are going to put, as I say, butts and seats and heads and beds and increase our tourism dollars in the city also. And those are the things that we need to do. The third things that I think we really need to concentrate on, though, with beautification and attractions are our gateways, Michigan Avenue, MLK, and also St. Stephen's Road by creating TIFs in those areas and having a public-private partnership there that enhances those areas. And I can expand on that later.
All right, Mr. Minard, your turn.
So one of my biggest programs is to try to install bike lanes and install those bike lanes so that it connects, the downtown area with those areas up to about 2 to 3 miles outside, which is a reasonable bike distance for most families with children of a certain age. But also connect those to the parks. I know you said other than parks, but what we really need is a diversification of the types of parks, and we're definitely heading that way. We have the 3 Mile Creek project, which is going to offer canoeing and bike trails, and we could connect that into downtown and then connect that down to the planned park that they're going to do over in Brookley, which is supposed to include maybe a pier and some beach area. And so those will be some more activities that the people will be able to do, plus development of the waterfront. My firm is handling some of the waterfront development for the city of Fairhope and part of their redevelopment project. And it is a big part of their community life, their city life, and their family life that I think we can mimic and we can copy, and we can apply those same principles to Mobile. And one thing I do want to stress is I really want to do a lot more outdoor activities. We still have a pretty high obesity rate, and anything that we can do outdoor, active, I'm really going to be supportive of that. One thing I definitely would like to see is an outdoor amphitheater, something that can hold 20,000, 40,000, maybe even 60,000 people, to allow large concerts and large events. And I really think that'll add to the quality of life and quality of family life. Thank you.
All right, my turn.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I agree with everyone, actually. Very good points. And I think that, what I would do is I would like to help provide more sidewalk amenities such as benches and trees and lighting to enhance safety and pedestrian comfort. I'd like to preservation and repurpose historic assets, especially our trees. I want to make sure that they're taken care of and not slaughtered again. I love the waterfront idea. I would also like to develop a network of safe, continuous bike lanes and related infrastructure to enhance bike safety and reduce our environmental impact, environmental footprint. So that's what I have. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manzi?
Yes, I think we've got to continue to work to make Mobile a destination, whether it's through our Mardi Gras, whether it's through investing in the various football classics and the annual football traditions that take place here, whether it's through this new waterfront access that the city just acquired at the old Bayfront property owned by the University of South Alabama, partnering further with the county to build out the soccer complex and that vision that they have for an auditorium and even some semblance of a water park. We've got to make Mobile a destination. And we've made some turns that I probably would not have gone down in the past. We've invested almost $50 million of city resources in Gulf Quest. And we're not going to see in anyone's lifetime or in our grandchildren's lifetime a return on that investment. When I consider all that we could have done with those dollars to have actually produced something that people would want to come here for, it's just really a missed opportunity. And I heard one of the other candidates mention the idea of TIFs. I already have the appropriate city staff working on creating new Tif districts along Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, Africatown Boulevard, and the St. Stephen's Road corridor, so that we can incentivize those communities, take those resources and inject it back to make certain that those are places that not only our residents, but tourists would want to visit and invest in. We have a great opportunity. And one of our former colleagues coined the phrase that we were the city of perpetual potential. I believe we can move beyond that and really make Mobile a premier city throughout this country.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for lending your time to this chat. Now is the opportunity for you to give your closing remarks and that lasting statement that you want to stay with people who are watching, your closing statements, and we will begin with Mark Menard. And for this, you have 1 minute.
I just wanted to thank everybody that tuned in and really all you guys that participated. I've heard a lot of great ideas, and one of the things I've said about this campaign is it's been exciting to really think about the city critically from the ground level. And I've done that. I've done the analysis, and I really believe that I have an idea of what the city needs economically, socially, and physically, actually. So I really think I'm a great candidate for this office, and I bring education experience to this seat that it's never had before. And I'd like the opportunity to show you what that means. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McCann.
First, I'd like to thank the NAACP and Fox 10 for hosting this event and inviting me to participate in it. I believe that I'm a good choice for District 2 City Council because I have a long-standing history of advocacy. I understand the determination it takes to create good changes, and I am deeply committed to advocate for the necessary and important goals of my district. Let me be the squeaky wheel for District 2. That's kind of what I want to do. And if I can withstand 10 years in a Supreme Court battle and come out victorious, I can certainly do the same for Mobile City Council District 2. Thank you.
Mr. Manzi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you to the NAACP. Thank you to Fox 10 and to my fellow candidates. I'm appreciative to hear such great ideas, such fervor for the future of our district. It's often said that you can judge a person what they will do by what they've already done. And we've really worked to bring considerable resources back to our district. Over the last 6 years, nearly $18 million has been spent to uplift and upgrade the quality of life amenities in our district, from parks to sidewalks to streets. When I was running for this office, there were citizens on Texas Street nearby in tears because of the condition of that roadway. In less than 3 weeks, we'll have a groundbreaking for a complete rebuild of Texas Street. There in the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue area, similar complaints, similar needs, and we will be working to upgrade that area. Kid Park with lighting, where parents had to use their headlights in order to illuminate the field for football practices. That's no longer the case. In every community, we've seen progress. And I ask that you give us another 4 years to continue to build on what we've already started, working for you in District 2.
Mr. Hill.
Thank you so much, Moderator Lagon, and I want to express my gratitude to the NAACP and all of those who are part of putting this together. I'm so thankful when people have an opportunity to hear what's actually going on within our city, so that our people will not be finessed. You can hear it right here, live and in action. The difference between myself and these other candidates, so you can visit electreggiehill.com to see the validity to this. They're telling you what they plan to do, what they intend to do, what they want to make happen. You're going to see by electing Reggie Hill a continuation of efforts to improve the quality of life for real, not just through sound bites. There's not one person in District 2 since the last election cycle who has attended more, participated in, and spoke up on behalf of the issues for District 2 more than myself. Not one. And so we don't have to look far to think about what we want to do, what we want to see for our community. What we have to do is say, we're going to repeat this again until we start making better decisions. So on August 24th, unless we want to continue complaining about the inconveniences of our city, we must elect new leadership. And I hope that you have been convinced why electing Reggie Hill would be the best option for District 2. So thank you to all, again, who are here listening, who participated, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share this pertinent information with
you. Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. And thank you to the NAACP for having us on tonight and for you moderating this. 16 years ago, I came into office with a vision and forward thinking, with a vision to change the concept of the way we were handling the Nuisance Abatement Act. We started off with a land bank, and then we moved on to quiet title, and then with the vision to ask someone to start the process of neighborhood revitalization in a program that was centered around that. Now we're back. And we have to do even more to enhance those things with crime, with infrastructure, with housing and affordable housing. I'm not just running to repair streets and have forward issues to the mayor to pick up cats and dead animals and patch potholes. I'm running for the future of the city. I'm running for the forward-thinking leadership. I'm a proven leader, and I've proved what the ideas and the hard work that comes from my mind and the things can put forward in the city. Look at what those ideas have accomplished in our city so far. Get ready, because there's a whole lot more to come. I'd like to thank everybody in the city, and I'd like to say, oh, William Carroll.
All right, we're going to end it there. Listen, I appreciate you all, and for everyone who's watching this online and for everyone who will watch this online, thank you for joining this conversation. A lot of great feedback, suggestions, and information given during this platform. I would like to thank all of the candidates for District 2 for joining us for this conversation, and also to the NAACP Mobile Branch 5044 for hosting this event. Ms. Kiera, thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for joining us at the City Council District 2 Candidate Forum sponsored by the NAACP Mobile Branch number 5044. We hope that this question and answer section has provided more perspective on the candidates on their platforms. For more information about the forums for other races, please visit the Mobile, Alabama NAACP Facebook page, and have a great night. And thank everybody for coming. Thanks, Fox 10. Thanks, Miss Lanice. Everybody enjoy. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.